My hopes and dreams for the new Astra Militarum Codex. Take 2! So I did one of these videos just over a year ago, and here we are still waiting. Yippee. Rumour has it that the next two codexes that will be released in December will probably be Brood Brothers and Custodes, with Guard being sometime early next year. So like a patient guardsman lying in ambush, waiting for the enemy to walk into the kill zone, us Astra Militarum players will carry on with a vastly inferior 8th edition codex, whilst most other armies continue to push forward. Having seen what other armies have had in their codexes, I've got 5 ideas of what I'd like to see. A big focus for me is ensuring that any new rules work within the confines of the lore and aesthetic of Imperial Guard, and encourage us to play in a more traditional way. You'll see none of my ideas are crazy and over the top when viewed against some of the other stuff that's come out for other armies. So let's get started. Battle turn based army-wide bonuses. Like what Drukhari, Space Marines and Adeptus Mechanicus have via their Doctrina Imperiatus, Guard needs something boosting us each turn. This needs to fit into the obvious aesthetic that we are puny humans with no combat drugs, second and third hearts and lungs, or extensive orc medics cleansing us of our inferior flesh. I propose. Turn 1. Duggan positions. Units that don't move in the first battle round receive a +1 cover save. Turn 2. Double time. All infantry models can reroll their advance roll. Turn 3. Listen up. All infantry officers boost their order range by 3 inches. Turn 4. Fix bayonets. All infantry models in melee generate an additional hit on hit rolls of 6. And turn 5. Jury rig repairs. All vehicles heal D3 wounds if they remain stationary. As you can see, there's nothing crazy in there. I like to think they fit pretty well into the lore of the Guard. Those in turn 1 and 5 actually may need to make some hard decisions. Think about the consequences of saying not moving an infantry squad in turn 1, but benefiting from a +1 cover save, versus moving them up and securing an objective. Number 2. Make Baneblades great again. These apparent fortresses need some serious work. Costing as much as a Primarch, they are covered in guns but made of paper mache. They can go either two ways, by simply making them much cheaper, say by about 100 points, or develop and work on some more elaborate rules. A 2+ save would be a good start. I know the majority of 40k vehicles have a 3+ save, but this isn't the majority. It's meant to be a fortress with very thick armour. The lore wouldn't support an invulnerable save from, say, some sort of force field, but I think a 2+ normal save would be a good start. They could also have a bonus for not moving, perhaps a choice of a +1 ballistic skill or recovering D3 wounds. Again, the lore would definitely support this, with the idea that the 10+ crew, including a tech priest, could definitely do some battlefield repairs. As for the +1 ballistic skill, this should be an absolute given when not moving. I mean, orc vehicles have a +1 ballistic skill when they've got a grot gunner. Give us an army-specific second objective that supports the lore of Imperial Guard. Like an 8th edition, we'll definitely get our own, with the only question of course being how good it'll be. Why not give us something that makes us build an army and play an army in a certain way? How about 3 different infantry squads equipped with Voxcasters must receive an order in a turn via a Voxcaster. They each must finish their turn in a different table quarter, and one of these infantry squads must destroy an enemy unit. Okay, the number of orders an infantry officer can order the same, and preface a secondary objective with the requirement that you must field at minimum 5 infantry squads in the same detachment. I'm realistic enough to know that this can't be a giveaway secondary, but it could be a way of encouraging a certain style of play. Imagine being incentivized to bring at least 5 infantry squads with Voxcasters, all in the same detachment, issuing at least 3 orders a turn to 3 different table quarters, and hoping that you destroy one of those units. You'll be coordinating your indirect fire to soften up your target but not kill it, and praying that your rapid fire 1 is enough to kill it. Radical. Number 4. Stratagems. I've got 5 ideas. Hellhound self-destruct. Pay 1 command point to self-destruct the vehicle, and it does D3 mortal wounds to units within 6 inches. Makes sense and is absolutely cool. Prelim bombardment. 3 command points. Before the battle begins, enemy units suffer D3 mortal wounds on a roll of 6. just like the current stratagem, but a bit better. Suicidal Charge, 1 command point. A commissar can order an infantry squad to charge an enemy unit with 3d6 charge and +1 attack in the preceding fight phase. However, they are -1 toughness and -1 leadership in the opponent's preceding turn. Complex to execute, possibly tactically powerful, and playing perfectly into the lore of Astra Militarum. Embedded Positions, 1 command point. If a heavy weapon squad hasn't moved in the previous turn, then it gets a +2 save and +1 ballistic skill until they move again. Again incentivizing us to play Astra Militarum how they're meant to be. Exterminatus, 4 command points. A Death Strike can fire its missile this turn on a 2+, ignoring the hour is nigh roll that it usually works to. Again incentivize us to take this cool model, but make it fair that it costs a fair chunk of command points, and there's still a chance it doesn't work on a 1. Just a few ideas that probably aren't over the top, considering what else has come out. Ultimately, I'd like to see more reason to play the full breadth of Astra Militarum units. An easy way to do this would just simply to reduce the points everything by 10 to 20%. Imagine a commissar costing 20, not 30 points, or Ratlings costing 40 points, not 50 points. The Astra Militarum Codex isn't actually that bad, and if Games Workshop were feeling super lazy, they could just make everything cheaper and keep the rules the same. But I doubt that will happen, of course. And lastly, number 5, platoons. It's my understanding that in older editions, there was benefit to bringing in platoon structures. Let's simply bring this back. As I've said before, I'm all about playing guard like they're meant to be played on the tabletop. You're meant to bring masses of infantry supported by basilisks, manticores and mortars, with Lehman Russes rolling around providing mobile fire support. Orders being issued left, right and centre, and commissars executing cowards. Not 4 tank commanders with demolisher siege cannons, 2 tanks with demolisher siege cannons, 2 full payload manticores and 2 or 3 blobs of Volgrams. Reward a player who brings 5 infantry squads, a command squad, heavy weapon squad, special weapon team and 5 chimeras, with perhaps the ability to issue additional orders per turn, additional leadership, improved ballistic skill, or maybe even improved weapon skill on the charge. So in finishing, as you know, the power creep across other armies has been intense. I'm definitely not mandating that Astra Militarum get a massive, ridiculous boost in their power creep, as I see Guard as always meant to be having a bit of an uphill battle. We are mere mortals battling the horrors of the 40th millennium. I don't want to lose this aesthetic, but currently on the tabletop it can feel like a single guardsman up against a company of Space Marines. It's relatively short and sweet. If you want to hear more of my dreaming, check out the original video from about 12 months ago now, as obviously it's all still relevant today. So yeah, what would you like to see in the next codex? Let me know in the comments. And as always, if you want to support me, you can do so with a like, comment, or by subscribing, or via YouTube Super Thanks. And you can also support me on my Patreon Platoon, and join the Patreon Platoon roll call at the end of each video. Patreon Platoon, sound off. Lieutenant Mitchell, Colour Sergeant DuPont, Sergeant Brady and Merrill, Veterans O'Dowd, Gibson, Gillian, Hall, Lundeen, Witten, Guardsman Combs, Hills, Nguyen, Tom, Tonkin.